Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope all of you are doing well, and today I'm going to be announcing the first ever Make Your Own Card Game Card Design Challenge. Only this time you're not just designing one card. In fact, you're going to be designing an entire archetype for this challenge. So let's get into it as I explain what's going on. So this contest, you're going to be designing your own archetype for the Make Your Own card game. And if you're not familiar with card game terminology, an archetype is just another way of saying a set of cards designed to work together. They usually are trying to do a very specific thing that helps them win the game. And so what you'll do is you'll design your archetype and then you'll submit your archetype by the stated deadline, which I will go over on the next slide. And then once the submission deadline has passed, will be the judgment phase where I will judge all the different archetypes that have been submitted based on certain criteria, which again I will outline later. And then the winning archetype will join the game as a formal archetype that you can play with. So to enter the Make Your Own Archetype Challenge, you'll be submitting your ideas through my Discord server labeled as MGX. So I'll have a link to this Discord server in the description of this video. And if you're not in the server and you still want to submit an idea, you can always submit through DMs on Discord or Facebook Messenger. Those are kind of the two platforms I tend to use. Now, if you're drawing the cards, I have a template you can reference in the rulebook, which will also be linked in the description. The rulebook also has different guidelines I'm looking for when creating cards for the game. So that will definitely be helpful to read before you start designing. And even if you don't have the confidence in your artwork, that's not a problem. If you want to just submit your archetype cards through text, you can. All I ask is that you describe the character or actions you're trying to make, because that will help me be able to draw the cards in case you end up winning, and then I can draw the official artwork based on those descriptions. The deadline to submit your archetype is going to be October 5th, so you'll have 4 weeks to submit everything. So definitely get on that. And as far as requirements go, I only have a few of them. The archetype has to consist of at least 5 cards, though you are allowed to have more than 5 cards in this archetype that you make. And your archetype is required to have at least 1 character card and 1 action card. So those are the 2 main broad categories of cards in the game. Characters do the fighting, actions provide one-shot effects before being discarded most of the time. Again, there's more information about this in the rulebook, and speaking of the rules, your archetype also has to be playable within the rules of the game. Again, knowledge of the rules and the card creation guidelines will help you out there. And finally, it is important to include how you want to be credited when you win, so that way I can give proper credit where it is deserved. And if your work is not unable to follow some of these rules, particularly if the cards are not playable within the rules of the game, I will have to ask you to resubmit your work, unfortunately, because I do have a thing that I want to make sure they're playable. And with that, one last thing I want to cover is the judgment phase. Once all the cards have been submitted and the deadline is passed, I will be judging all the archetypes you guys submit, and the judgment of archetypes will be based on the following criteria. There's 3 of them. First is gameplay, which is worth 10 points. This measures how well the archetype plays out, how well the cards end up working together, and how balanced they are compared to some of the other cards in the game. So if it's too strong, or that it kind of ends up breaking the game, or if it is a little too weak, it's a little too slow to get to its win condition, that might throw off the score a little bit. The second category is aesthetics, which is worth 5 points. This determines whether the artwork or your descriptions for characters are inspiring to encourage people to want to play the archetype or not. So that's worth 5 points. Final category is originality. This is also 5 points, and this is basically a measure of whether you're bringing something new to the card game or you're providing an interesting twist on a familiar theme within the card game. And that about covers all of the things I have, the rules I have for the contest. Thank you very much for watching this. And as usual, if you have comments that you would like to make, you have any questions, you can always leave them in the comments below. And even if you're not interested in entering the contest, but you still want to submit card ideas, like maybe you have an idea for just one card, I'm always accepting card ideas. You can always post them in my server, and I will definitely take a look at them and consider them for putting in the game. I'm always interested to see what you guys have to create. Definitely make me proud with your creations. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. And until next time, I will see you in whatever video I upload next, and take care.